Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks Podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say. Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of Dribbz Talks, the podcast where we bring some of the finest members of society that our community has to offer. Now, this man is responsible for bringing a little bit of happiness into everyone's life, because this man offers a talent that if you were to witness one of his many pieces of vibrant art, you are sure to feel that little bit more positive about your day at that particular time. He goes by the name of Neil Willis. Welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thank you, brother. Good to be here.
Pleasure to have you down, mate. So, let's get straight into it then. So for the listeners who wouldn't know who you are, can you please explain a brief introduction about yourself and where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from Telford. I've always been from Telford. Hollingswood I grew up in. And then I've just discovered the passion for graffiti when it first came out. What would that be? Many years ago, bro, to be honest. And that's all I found I could do, mate, to be honest. I had a passion for drawing, just drew every day. Big Rolf Harris fan back in the day, Tony Hart, and just sat there drawing with big markers like Rolf Harris used to do, doing my mum and dad's head in with the smell of permanent markers in the lounge. And then from there it just developed. I was doing bedrooms and t-shirts for mates and that sort of stuff. I was in engineering, got made redundant from that. Didn't know where I was going in life, to be honest. I mean, I had my first child, and then the pressure was on, to be honest. So I set up my business, doing workshops, to be fair, which I never thought I would do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that kind of person. People who know me, I don't enjoy talking and that, mate. Do you know what I mean? And public talking and that sort of stuff. But John Cocker from Telford and Wrekin back then in the arts team, I worked alongside him at the first skate park that was in Telford on Stafford Park.
I remember that. Was that called Skate Mental?
Skate Mental, yes.
Yes, mate, I remember that. I remember being a baggy trousered skateboarder, mate. Yeah, you worked on that, right?
Yeah, well, I did most of the work in there.
It lasted for quite a bit, to be fair.
It did. And then they moved it to Tweedale. He went down there.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I met John through going up of an evening and doing bits and pieces for him. And he said, you know what, you should do this. You should work with kids and I can get you work doing that in the council. And I was like, I can't make a living out of that, mate. You know what I mean? I'm an artist. People don't pay artists decent money and that. So he got me in my first couple of workshops, and then after about 3 workshops, everybody was coming to me going, why don't you come to my youth club? You should come to mine, you should come to ours. And then it just exploded, mate.
Really?
For about 10 years, do you know what I mean? It was non-stop, and I was all over the country. And then I got into different councils. Stoke City Football Club got in touch with me from a big project in Stoke, and I'm a Stoke fan as well, so I was buzzing about that, do you know what I mean? And they got me in to do a few bits and pieces with kids from schools who could come into the football ground. And then they discovered that they got a community project where they're going to schools and do the football and that, but they also discovered that every kid's not into football. So how can we engage him with the football club? We'll offer him art sessions and that. So we was going in doing art sessions, and then we were bringing the kids back to the ground for them to paint. Then it just exploded from there, mate. It was on Sky Sports, Match of the Day, got filmed doing it.
Wow.
And it just spiralled. Like I say, for 10 years it was non-stop, mate.
So from what I'm starting to learn about you is there is more to you than the art. There's the music too, but I'm going to focus on the art first. So the artistic side of you, was that always present at an early age? Yes, mate.
I just enjoy drawing. I've got like a photographic memory sort of thing. So I can copy. Do you know what I mean? That was my thing. I would copy images all the time, like Mickey Mouse and that sort of stuff. I do struggle to find, even now, to do my own stuff, my own ideas, do you know what I mean? But if you give me a picture, I can copy the picture.
Really?
Yeah, so that's where I've made my living, to be honest. When I'm doing bedrooms, kids' bedrooms, they've always got an idea what they want. So I can recreate that, no problem.
All right, so if you've got a like a brain that would, like, you can copy obviously pictures from seeing them, do you remember your first piece of art, even if it's as a child, that you created that you felt a sense of pride from?
I would say, like I just mentioned, drawing Mickey Mouse, getting Mickey Mouse proportionally right. I think that was my first achievement, to be fair. And then obviously back in the day when Weetabix brought all the little break dancers out and that sort of stuff.
I remember them.
That was a big thing back in at school, and that, drawing all these little b-boy Weetabix characters and that, so that sticks in my mind as well.
Yeah. See, you think, like, I suppose drawing Mickey Mouse, you think it would be dead easy, but I suppose getting the proportions right is a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, shape of his ears, shape of his eyes, the little framework around his face and that. Yeah.
See, when I used to be back in school, and I suppose this will show a different age with me and you, but when I used to be back in school, it was like people used to draw the South Park characters, Kenny and like Cartman and all them ones, and trying to get them right without them looking naff, and 9 times out of 10 they look very, very naff. But yeah, that was quite fun to do back in the day for us. So at what point in your life did you decide that being creative with your art could actually earn you a wage, as opposed to it just being a hobby?
When I got made redundant, I got forced into that, having to provide for my family. Do you know what I mean? So I still think I'm very much a routine person. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like habit. Do you know what I mean? So I was going to work 6 till 2, go in, clock out, job done, finish, forget about work. But then being made redundant, and I realised I'm not in control of my own destiny. Do you know what I mean? Somebody can take that away from you whenever they want to, and you are just a number. Doesn't matter how much you do for the company, you're always a number.
Replaceable, mate.
100%, mate. So yeah, it sort of forced me to go and do this, where I was never that kind of person to go and introduce myself and speak to people, and I can offer you this and I can do that. I don't do that, bro. Do you know what I mean? I don't like that. Even now when people come up and go, oh, that's really good, and that, I've struggled with that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I struggle with compliments and that sort of stuff, because it's just what I do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's times that you deserve your flowers, mate, and you need to take them flowers.
Yeah, I know it's hard though, bro, man.
It's easy for me to say, but for someone that can't,
it'll be the same for you though with your music and that. The praise is hard, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It is.
We all like praising that.
Look, right, I don't want to come across a big head. I really don't want to come across a big head. But my kind of one-liner in life is, if I don't believe in myself and my craft, then how am I supposed to make other people believe in me as well? Especially as a music artist, you know, with your stuff you do, I guess you're not looking for fans of your craft. You're just looking to, put a smile on someone's face, like I did say in that introduction, and make someone's day a little bit brighter by seeing your art. Do you know what I mean? Or sprucing up something that's, looking quite decayed and decrepit. And but for me, like I said, as a music artist, I want to get people on board believing in my music, and if I have no belief in myself and think I'm all right, I'm not going to get other people to believe it as well.
I get that.
So it's kind of different for me, but without coming across as a big head, so sometimes I'll complete a track.
Love it.
yeah, I love it. Sometimes I complete a track and I'll take it into my wife, because my wife is my biggest critic. She's my biggest critic. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, of course, yeah. And I couldn't handle this at first. I've taught myself how to handle criticism as constructive. Before, I thought it was an attack continuously, and I took it that way. I used to get really arsey about it and stuff. Whereas now I'm just like, what are you playing at? You need that criticism to work on things.
Yeah, you do.
Do you know what I mean?
Positive criticism.
Yeah, positive criticism. Exactly. Yeah, because it's all constructive. It's all it's all positive. It's not negative. But I think you do need to believe in yourself. 100%, mate. 100% on that. So, were there any other artists that motivated you to work on graffiti when you first started?
Oh, like Scene and Dondi back in the day. Goldie, do you know what I mean?
Goldie, of course, yeah.
Goldie was big, wasn't he?
See, people around my scene, like the drum and bass, they just remember Goldie as being the jungle legend. I mean, he's Wolverhampton based, isn't he?
Yeah.
The jungle legend, the drum and bass legend, and he's still doing the rounds now, bless him, he's smashing it still. But for someone like yourself that has that avid passion for graffiti, you know him for them kind of reasons, don't you?
Yeah, it was sick, bro. Just influences from all over, to be honest. But UK was always behind. Do you know what I mean? But now there's so many good artists in the UK. I've got so many good artist mates from Birmingham who were really good, bro. Do you know what I mean? They kill it.
Yeah.
Just different level.
Have you travelled to different parts of the world to
seen
graffiti?
To see graffiti?
Yeah,
when we went to Amsterdam last year for my birthday, there's I think it's called Straat or something.
Okay.
It's a graffiti museum. It's in an old where they used to make boats sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But when we walked in there, it just blew me away, mate. Do you know what I mean? The size of the canvases were just like, pictures don't do it justice.
Really?
Mate, do you know what I mean? They were just unreal. But then I'm so anal with stuff. I'm close up to these canvases going, do you know what? It ain't that good close up. But 6 foot, 10 foot away, it looks amazing. Do you know what I mean? And then I can see Dribbz and them alloys in their pieces, which is really bad. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was just blew my mind, mate. And I was so inspired when I came back from there to start painting and pushing myself more with my painting again this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And getting more, like, trying more photorealistic with the work. And I watch all the time. I learn from watching. Do you know what I mean? I can't read books.
Okay, you're a visual learner.
Yeah. I couldn't read how to do it, but if you show me, I've got it straight away, sort of thing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, and just everything's evolved with the spray painting, the caps, the shields you can get now to do airbrush work with a can. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of waste in that, but I'm getting stupidly skinny lines now. Do you know what I mean? And it makes everything look super realistic.
And is that something back in the day that couldn't really be done?
Back in the day, yeah, you just had like standard caps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a struggle back then, but it's just so different now. You can get translucent paint for shadows and that sort of stuff, where you'd have to lay your blacks in first and work back into that. But now you can actually, you still do that now, do you know what I mean? But like, you can still add a little bit more deep depth with going over the top with the translucent blacks and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it works really well now.
Yeah. Now most artists, they take some sort of inspiration with their craft. Do you feel that you're inspired by a certain person or?
No, not really. It's I'll do a lot of commissions. Do you know what I mean? So like, people have got their ideas of what they want. I do watch Smo Nova. He's a German graffiti artist. He's all over YouTube and that, and he's very good. He does like tutorials while he's painting and that sort of stuff and explaining stuff, and I'll watch and I think I'll try that on my next job, do you know what I mean, and see how that comes out, and just constantly trying to evolve, you know what I mean, and get better at what I'm doing. 100%.
So was doing what you do now always something that you aspired to do, or do you think you pretty much fell into this kind of area of work?
I think I got forced into this area of work when I lost my job, do you know what I mean? Else I would still be there now, do you know what I mean? Because the whole of even today, do you know what I mean? I don't know when my next job's coming in. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like when, like 10 years ago, when I was booked 6 months in advance, and I knew what was coming in. Now it's, you get decent jobs and then you won't get no jobs for 2 or 3 weeks, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have to drop onto my other jobs, what I'm doing, which just keeps my head above water, to be fair, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I sort of got forced into what I was doing, but it was everything happens for a reason, bro.
Yeah,
you know what
100%. I mean? Yeah.
Else I wouldn't have been doing what I'm doing now.
I genuinely think that. I genuinely think everything happens for a reason. Some people think that's bollocks, but I genuinely think that.
It's 100%, mate. Everything in life happens for a reason.
There's things that happen. I'm just like, wow. If that hadn't have happened, then I wouldn't have got this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
That can't just be luck every time.
No, not at all. No,
I'm glad you're on the same page as me with that, mate.
100%.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad you're on the same page. Like, I've spoke to a few of my guests. I'll name drop Callum Doyney. Obviously, he is a singer, professional singer. As well as that, he's a builder. So he does a lot of building in his family, and he pretty much said what I think you'll probably agree with here. He said now he's spent so many years working with his brother and his dad and pretty much being his own boss, because he said like he's got the allowance that if he don't feel too good, he just doesn't go in, and his dad's cool with that. If he wants to work on his singing, his dad's cool with that. He'll say, "We'll take a couple of days off," and that's fine.
That's cool.
Like with me, when I worked for a long kind of, well, I worked within a school, so it had procedures. If I didn't go in, I was going down the disciplinary route. I've got HR with clipboards in meetings and stuff, and all that added to anxiety with me and made me feel awful. Do you think yourself, it's you couldn't imagine working for a corporation now you've been doing what you've been doing for so long?
I don't think I could go back to working for somebody else. I am my own boss. Do you know what I mean? And if
that's exactly what Callum said.
If I haven't got work, then really I've only got myself to blame. Do you know what I mean? So I think I'd struggle with that 9 to 5. Big time.
All right, okay. So if you hadn't have been doing art and you hadn't grown up having an interest in art and you were actually no good in art, what job do you think you would have been doing?
I have no idea.
No idea.
No idea.
So what were you doing before? You mentioned your job, but you didn't actually say what you were doing.
I did quite a few different jobs, bro, to be honest. I went to art college. I went to TCAT. Did 12 months there. Really enjoyed that. But again, because I was not very academic at school and that, I had to do my English again and all that. So I was missing out on all my art lessons, you know what I mean? Because I was having to redo that, and that's not what I signed up for, to be fair.
Yeah.
Then I could have gone on to further education at Wrexham College. But back then, they were asking like for my mum and dad to pay for that, and I thought, they can't do that, do you know what I mean? So I started working and just got into work and got used to the money, got used to going out. And then it's just a vicious circle then, do you know what I mean? Getting away out of that.
Yeah.
And that's all I did for years, mate. And then the last job I was in engineering. And I enjoyed that because I was setting the tools in the stores and that for the whole factory and that. And then when I got made redundant, it was like, right, I need to do something now, do you know what I mean? I need to step up. And that's where it went from there. Just took off.
That's totally my aim, honestly. Where you were at when you got made redundant is I've recently quit a job of 15 years that I was getting paid minimum wage for being overworked and undervalued. And it was the most, I'll be honest with you, it was the most scariest because obviously you didn't have a choice of being made redundant. I quit the job because my mental health was going down, and I just thought, for the money that I'm on, this pressure is too much. This life is short anyway, bro. We're only here for a short time. Do you know what I mean? Man. Like, I've got friends who had ambitions and dreams and got whipped away like that, and you know, they're gone, and they didn't even reach the age that I'm at now, and it scares me to death with that. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, you've got to look after your health, haven't you? Do you know what I mean?
Man, you've got to be happy, bro, as well, man.
Yeah, and it was the scariest thing ever that I did, to quit just before Christmas, when times are hard with money anyway, and for me to quit my job and basically be unemployed. I mean, thank God I had a good support system around me with my wife and whatnot. But I hope that I can sit here in a year's time and catch up with you and just say, look, since doing that, I'm now doing this and this, because my absolute dream would be to do some form of lyric writing with kids in communities, workshops with kids in communities. That's what I'd love to do, to get paid for something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because 15 years working with...
space for that, bro.
Yeah, I hope so. I've been told that I need to kind of maybe put out a bit of a Dragon's Den spiel to someone to get funding and stuff, because you kind of have to have a bit of a business-minded head to say where you're going to go with this. I don't know. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I hope that in a year's time I can say that I'm now getting paid for something that I'd love to do. Yeah. Rather than something that I'm pretty half-hearted about. Yeah. Life is too damn short,
it is, bro. It is.
So from the coverage, let me get my words right. From the coverage from the media, social media, and word of mouth, I'm very much aware that Telford and Wrekin have commissioned you to brighten up some of the most decayed areas of our community. This is where my introduction to Neil Willis is reinforced. I've walked down a certain underpass in Telford that is normally known for its dark and dingy walls that served many years of decay, to be completely blown away by your artwork, so vibrant with a range of colours and that sprayed across the walls. Now, I'm going to repeat myself now, but when I first seen your graffiti piece in that underpass, it instantly gave me a smile on a day when I really needed a reason to smile. Surely that must give you a little bit of satisfaction.
Yeah, that's nice, bro. Yeah.
Because genuinely that happened,
Which underpass was it?
It was your most recent one. The most recent underpass you did.
Hollinswood.
I feel like it might have been. Have been. but I did see your tag on it as well. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
So
yeah.
it was yours, but it was a day when I was riddled with anxiety, because I do suffer with severe anxiety, and I was riddled with anxiety, and I needed a reason to smile. And seeing your artwork, and you know, even not really knowing you too well at that particular time, but seeing the artwork, it kind of, I was like, oh, that's decent. And I actually stopped and took 5 minutes to look at it all, and,
Nice.
and by the time I'd walked away, I had a smile on my face.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, to you, I guess that's job done in a certain way.
It is, man. It is. I painted. Same thing happened. I painted a bus stop at Ranley, and I just finished it. And obviously, then I signed the wall and put my where you can find me and that sort of stuff. And within 20 minutes of me finishing the job, I had a message on my Facebook business page from a lad who says, he messaged me and says, I've had such a bad week, and I've just come to catch the bus, and you've just made my week. And I'm like, that's worth painting in the cold for, and not feeling my fingers.
Mate.
Do you know what I mean? For like 2 days.
Because we all try to do something to make someone's life a little bit better, you know. And I wish kind of everyone had that same value. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I'll refer that back to my music just so I can have a little bit of input in this. But like, you know, I always want to make with my music. That's why I write so much heartfelt stuff. I always want to make someone relate.
That comes across as well, bro, in your music.
Thank you,
and that.
man.
Yeah, it does, man.
Yeah.
We had it on the other day because obviously you CD and that. And I've only got a CD in my car. Do you know what I mean? So we were going Chester last week to play a gig, Chester. And we had it on in the car. I said to my missus, listen to this, do you know what I mean? And the lyrics, man, you can tell it's from your heart, bro, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's particular tracks in that, mate, which I can remember recording, especially one called Be Fine. I think it's like track 3 or 4, and I can remember recording that with tears in that booth over there. You know what I mean? Because I was in that frame of mind where I just needed to get these lyrics out, and this is the beauty of music, you know. And I feel that's why it's so important to write shit from your heart. And not rap about guns, drugs, power and money and women, because as much as that sells these days, and that's a sad thing, it does sell commercially.
Yeah.
That's not me, bro.
No.
I'm not going to write about living in the ghetto Bronx when I live in the beautiful countryside of Shropshire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I can't get these people that walk around like they're in the middle of London. Like, come on, you live in... Yeah, it might be Telford, it might be a little bit nitty and gritty, but you live in the countryside of Shropshire. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I feel that, like, if I can make... I've always said this, man. You probably heard me harp on about this on social media. If I can make one person relate to my music, then to me, that means everything to me. And I mean everything. You know, like I wrote this track called Never Fall Apart, and that was about my dad and what he put me through as a child and stuff. And yeah, I had this message from
that's on the album, isn't it?
track 5, I think.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, right. It's got quite haunting vocals on the hook.
It's good, man.
Thank you. And yeah, I had a chap get in touch with me, and I think he was about 50, and he said to me, he said, look, he said, like, I went through pretty much what you're talking about as a child, and at that particular time I thought no one else was going through it, and it's took to become of a certain age, he said, and like to hear you laying that down and being so open about your feelings, he goes, it's really helped me. And that, mate, honestly, I had to screenshot that message, because there's times when I question everything that I'm doing. I question it, am I just hitting a brick wall with this stuff, you know, when my streams are low and stuff, and I'm thinking like, is this worth it? And then I look at that screenshot, I've got a couple of them, mate, and I look at them screenshots and I think, that is why I'm doing this shit.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is 100% why I'm doing this shit. So explain to me the process from planning to actually spraying these requested pieces, mate.
Oh, well, the planning can go on for weeks, and the design process, like, take for instance the Hollinswood project that I've just finished. I did a session at the youth club with the kids to get their ideas and their inspirations of what they would like to see. They're usually quite vague, to be honest, you know what I mean? And I'm like, don't worry about your drawing skills, just write ideas down, what you'd like to see, because everybody can't draw. Everybody can draw, but everybody thinks they can't draw. So I came back with quite a few loose ideas for this piece, and then I do a number of designs, but it is always the first design, which is bizarre, do you know what I mean? And
Really?
I think I'll send a few designs in, do you know what I mean, so they've got a choice, but they always go for the first design that I do.
So that seems to be a pattern, does it?
Yeah, a big pattern.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe it's my first idea that I get down on
suppose,
paper,
yeah.
and it's the right one, but then you always question yourself. But yeah, so they passed the process off for that. That took about a week or so to be passed off. And then obviously I booked the job in to get the job sorted, and then the day I started to go and paint it, it was the day we had snow, and I thought, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So straight away, it's like 1 degree. Do you know what I mean? So I have to go and block out the paint the wall first, block it all out the subway. So I did the first day blocking out, and then I started to sketch out. But some jobs I will use a projector to project my outlines, right. Especially bedrooms and that sort of stuff. It's a time thing. That's all it is, bro. Do you know what I mean? And using the different skills. So like scaling wise on jobs, I can be sketching out and then walking back and looking at it, thinking it's proportionally not right, and then I can be doing that for like a couple of hours on these jobs in houses. People don't want you there for a couple of hours. They want the end result. They're not really bothered about how you've got to that end result. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll do my design on the project it straight to the wall, trace the outlines. That's done. 5-10 minutes. You know what I mean? Then I'm creating then, and that's what they want to see, the end result like that. But in the subway, obviously, because it's outside, it's hard. I can't really project that often. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't get the car down to the subway anyway. So then at school, when they used to do the gridding on the paper, to keep everything proportion. But now it's called a doodle grid, which is just made up of like numbers and shapes and that sort of stuff. So what I do is I sketch straight onto the wall with a doodle grid, take the photo on my iPad of the wall, then I use Procreate on my iPad, and I put the image over the picture I've taken of the wall, and then I reduce the opacity, so then I can see the symbols and the letters coming through underneath, and then that gives me able to trace it and keep everything in proportion. So that's the whole process. So I'll spend most of the first day doing that, sketching everything out, making sure it's right, and then next day I'll start painting. But again, same with everything. Some days I can just get in my zone and I'm painting and I'm knocking it out, and then some days I'm on the same bit for about 3 hours and I'm just like, I've got nowhere with this. Going over what I've done, do you know what I mean? And then, because I don't step back enough when I'm painting. You need to step back and look at it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm used to painting bedrooms where it has to be good detail close up. But with graffiti, you can get a little bit looser. So it's usually meant to be seen from a distance than close up. And that's where I struggle with sometimes. I need to walk back a lot and keep breaking and looking at it, but I just get my head in. Don't stop. Do you know what I mean? Don't stop for dinner or nothing. Just get it done while I'm in that zone. And then before I know it, I'm halfway down the subway in one day and I'm like, wow, I've done loads here today. Then the next day can be a struggle. Do you know what I mean? And then one day I went and it was -4, and within 5 minutes I got like frostbite in my fingers, and that was a struggle that day. But I knew I had 2 weeks to get the job done. And I did finish it on time, to be fair, do you know what I mean? But there was some late nights. But when I'm in my zone, I'm in my zone. I just keep painting and painting and
Do you find people will stop and talk to you if they're walking past? Because I guess the last thing you want is conversation. You're in your zone,
bro, it's mental.
You don't need to talk
honestly.
about the weather when you're trying to do what you need to do.
I've had random people talk to me, mate.
Really? What's been the most strangest, Neil?
Well,
come on.
When doing Hollinswood, some lad was standing at the top shouting, bro, the coppers are on the car park, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And he's like, no, the coppers are on the car, and I'm like,
run.
Yeah, right, bro, it's fine. No. I was like, do you know what, mate? I'll just carry on painting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then some people just obviously comment that they like it and it's brightening up their day and that sort of stuff, which is all good. And then I've had people just come up and go, mate, that's shit, mate.
Really?
Yeah. What are you doing that for? Wasting money and that. And I'm like, okay, I get you. Do you know what I mean? But this is my living, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was still shit.
Wow.
So I've got broad shoulders, man. Over the years, I've had loads of that, man. And you have to, like my missus and that, she'll go mad. Like, not mad, but like she'll be like, oh, people are saying this and they're saying that. I'm like, don't bother me, man. Do you know what I mean? You have to rise above it.
Yeah.
You'll make somebody happy down there. It doesn't matter what you do, somebody's always going to knock what you do, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
There's always going to get your knockers and that. I mean, like I put something on Facebook, a little advert for to advertise my business and that. And honestly, the flyer I used, it was that tiny on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? And I had somebody message who must have zoomed in big time and just commented and says, "Oh, your artwork's all really good, but the peck on the Hulk is slightly out of proportion." And I'm thinking, the effort it took you to write that and send that to me, was it really worth it, mate? Do you know what I mean? Somebody will always pick fault, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess it is part and parcel.
It is, and if I'm happy with it, the customer's happy with it, then that's all that matters to me, bro.
So do you just focus on spraying like the chosen buildings that, you know, the local authority might commission you to, or do you welcome any private jobs too?
Yeah, private jobs are all good. I do everything, bro, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Private. I've worked in prisons, I've worked for, like, say, football grounds, and I'll do whatever needs painting.
So in the past year alone, would you say that you've spent more time working outside on these pieces, or have you done like so many more inside?
To be fair, outside, there's been a lot outside this year. And I always get loads of work outside when it's winter, which is bizarre. Give me the jobs outside in the sun. Do you know what I mean? So I can stand in the sun. But yeah, it's usually winter time. I get loads of work outside, which is crazy, mate.
Tell me some positives and some negatives about creating what you do within the community. I mean, you say about it, you know, brighten up someone's day. That's clearly a positive in itself. But, you know, have you got any negatives about doing this within the community?
The only negatives I've found over the years is you have to be really careful what you do now. Do you know
really?
What I mean? Like I say,
politically correct and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Have you ever had, and I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but have you ever had, like, where you've worked really hard, because this would be my absolute gripe, where you've worked really hard on something and some twat has come along and defaced it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Which is... It doesn't happen that often. Okay. But when it does, it's annoying.
Yeah, I bet it is.
But then sometimes it's just a quick fix, and I'll just go back and it's done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But sometimes, I'll get that, though. I get why they do that as well. Do you know what I mean? Because
why they do that?
Yeah, it's like a jealous thing in it, and they have to put their mark on it. I mean, I've painted years and years ago in Rugeley, and we had kids involved on doing this project and that. And some kids walked past who wasn't involved on the project, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to paint that after."
Wow.
And I'm like, really? After they've done this? And they went, yeah, we'll paint it because we haven't been involved. I'm like, well, that's not their fault that you've not been involved. Came back the next day and they'd wrote on it. And I'm like, well, you've just told us you were going to do it. Do you know what I mean? So if I can know who's done it.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, people will just do it for the sake of doing it, mate. Do you know what I mean?
So can you think of any more negatives then?
No,
just comes with a bag of positives then, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, that's great. Now, I know that sometimes the community do like to have a good moan about things, even when there isn't even a reason to do so. Mm-hmm. You know the ones, we call them Karens. Have you ever had anyone within the community try to bring any negativity your way from spray painting, really? You know, are they looking at you in a negative light when all you're trying to do is positive things? Yeah,
that Rugeley job was a big job. I painted it wasn't Rugeley, it was Cannock, actually. Mm-hmm. The Prince of Wales Round Theatre up there, and I got commissioned to paint the shutter doors on the theatre, which was right next to the church, and they wanted like a stained glass theme, which I was like, let me do something realistic and it'll look really cool. We want a stained glass theme with iconic things around Cannock and Rugeley and that sort of stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. But they were paying, the job was really well paid, to be fair, but I was there a whole month to do this job, and then obviously being council where they had to release what they were spending their money on. Do you know what I mean? And then that just opened up a can of worms. They set Facebook pages up against having it done, and that actually came and filmed me without telling me while I was painting, which is, that's not good at all. Do you know what I mean? And then they were on doing a live chat on Facebook about it and that sort of stuff.
That's a lot of effort to go to, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. And I get it. Do you know what I mean? Because like they were saying, well, why they're spending this much money on here instead of improving the roads and that sort of stuff. So I do get that. Do you know what I mean? But when I've got people come up to me as I'm painting, this other lady come up to me and she was like, "This is shit, mate." And I'm like, "Wow, how rude are you?"
Jeez.
And she just said it and walked off. And I'm like, right, okay, you've got your opinion, do you know what I mean? And you've said it to my face, that's fair enough. And then she came back the next day and she was like, I wasn't saying that your artwork is shit, but the whole way the council are spending the budget is shit. And I said, look, I'll get you. Do you know what I mean? But that's not the way you came across yesterday. And then from there, I had to go and then paint the shop shutters, which it looks drab in the city centre, in the centre. Do you know what I mean? All the shops are down because they're going to knock the car park, the multi-storey down, and regenerate it all. But the shops are all shut, so they wanted a mural on the shops so it brightens up while people are there.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's fine. So they said, do what you want on that sort of thing. So I did realistic animals and wildlife for Cannock Chase and that. And I was painting, and I had some bloke come and go, "Oh, mate, this is so much better than the shit out the front." And I was like, "Really?" He said, "Do you know who did the shit out the front?" I went, "Yeah, I did the shit out the front as well, mate." And he was like, "Well, it looks totally different." I said, "Yeah, because that's what they wanted."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They could have had this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But obviously, you're liking this more, which it brightens up the. But again, do you know what I mean? Everybody's got opinion, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So the amount of commission work that you've done over the years for a range of people, tell me what's been your most favourite piece, would you say, to have completed, and why?
Oh, probably working for Stoke City, bro, to be honest. Obviously, because I'm a big fan, do you know what I mean, of Stoke. I've followed Stoke for quite a few years now. It's just, what was the piece was we got promoted to the Premier League, and I had to paint the buzz of the tour of the city after. So I got to paint that. I can't remember what year it was, but I got to paint that, and then from painting that, Sky Sports wanted to get involved and come and film me painting. So they came to film me at the Stoke Ground, to me obviously doing the work and that sort of stuff. And then Sky Sports said, "Well, do you know what? We'll just base it on you. Do you know what I mean? Not the club. We'll just base it on what you're doing for the club." So they did that, and then I got aired on Sky Sports, a little section they do in the community and that.
Nice.
And then it went from there, and then like they bring footballers over to engage with the kids and that sort of stuff. So that's probably one of my biggest favourite pieces that I did.
And obviously with you being a Stoke fan as well.
Yeah, and it's still there. I go back every year, and I have to change the faces of new players that are coming in that I've painted from the year before, get rid of old players that have gone. But this one piece has been there for years, and it does probably need freshening up now, but they still love it. So,
ever done anything on the Blues ground? Or
no,
I'm just going to put that out there because I'm a Birmingham City fan.
Are you really?
Yeah. You used to like me, but I've probably changed now, haven't it?
That's okay.
Someone's got to be at St Andrews cheering them on, mate. Although they're knocking St Andrews down and they're building it somewhere else. So.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Someone's got to support them, mate. I'm sure, like within your area of work, you've got to be a perfectionist to a certain extent. As let's face it, it's your name which is going on that piece for many, many years to come. Even when you're long gone, there's still going to be these pieces, hopefully, that are still about. Now, have you ever had a circumstance where you've completed a job and the customer's like really happy about it, but you just quite ain't too pleased about it? And how do you approach them situations?
One of the jobs recently I did, it was a container in somebody's garden. And it got a fox on it, and the first day the image I'd used of the fox, the back of the fox looked grey in the image, but obviously it's taken an image from the internet and the colours are not right, and I kept looking at it thinking something's not right about this fox. It's not sitting right in my head. And then I took photos before I left, and I was speaking to the customers, and they're like, "Oh, it looks amazing what you've done so far," and this and that, and I was like, "There's something not right with it. I'm going to go and pick it to pieces tonight." Then I got home and I looked at it, and then I got it on my iPad, and I shaded orange over the back of the fox, and I thought it's a fox, do you know what I mean? It needs to be more orange in it. So I went back the next day and I did it, and I changed it, and they were like, "Wow, that looks so much better," but they were happy with the original fox that I did.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But me analysing it, and I wasn't happy with it at all. It doesn't sit well with me. I pull things to pieces.
Yeah, I get that. So keeping in terms with the spraying, have you ever worked with any organisations in the community to pass on your skills and abilities to younger generations? Yeah,
I used to do loads of workshops in the community. Like I say, 10 years ago, it kicked off. I think it might have been even longer than 10 years, to be fair. Where I'd be passing on, like, doing a positive, not a negative, and teaching them about, look, you can do this, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be vandalism. Do you know what I mean? You ain't going to get no good at spray painting if you're looking over your shoulder constantly. Mm-hmm. Get a board in your garden and practice the skills, do you know what I mean? And get where you want to be. And I've worked with gangs as well, where they used to send me into, like, where they've got, like, turf wars and that sort of stuff. And they'd send me in, and I'd just go in with my spray cans, and I think, wow, I've just got myself so deep into this stuff.
How do they take to you?
brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's illegal, innit? Do you know what I mean? And they think, oh yeah, this is good, but then I'm teaching them the positive with it. And then I also started doing, well, what else can they do other than just painting boards or drawing on paper? Let's start customising stuff, do you know what I mean? Let's do customising trainers, baseball caps, t-shirts. And then I started going in and doing all that sort of stuff with them in different organisations. And the amount of lads, I worked with a group of lads in Stoke who were terrorising people really bad, like in the community. And they come to the Stoke ground and we worked with them, and then we did a big project out in the community. And I'm like, this is your chance to shine, lads, do you know what I mean? People are going to come up and tell you they don't like what you're doing, but it's how you deal with it. And honestly, they got like awards from the council, Stoke City Council.
That's
for
amazing,
how they develop
mate.
themselves. And some of the lads were like, do you know what, mate, I'm going to go to college and do art. I just thought art was gay and that, like, and I'm like, why would you think that anyway? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not like do you know what I mean? They've got this whatever it is, perception of what art is. You know what I mean? And when I showed them you can do it, this is still art, man, but you can customise your own trainers and that, and they were like, I'm going to do it at college now. So positives came out of that. Do you know what I mean?
And them going to college, right?
Yeah.
You have helped kickstart that.
Yes,
mate. So
yeah.
Flowers on that one as well,
Thank you,
mate. Do you
brother.
know what I mean? I know you don't like taking
I hate
this,
that.
and you're probably cringing at this round of
I am.
applause here, but
Proper.
flowers on that one, bro.
Thank you, man.
Come on. So from doing a bit of research on you, my mate, I'm aware that like you created the Made in Telford mural in the Arts Alive gallery at Telford Shopping Centre, where you encouraged the public to chip in with their ideas as to how the artwork would take shape. What was the response like from this, and did many of the public bring ideas your way?
That was years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, I went. Oh, mate, come on! I went through your name on Google and found a lot of old articles, mate. So
yeah, that was funny.
I thought I'd impress you and show that I took a bit of interest in this, mate. Come on,
bro. That was funny. That whole working in there, because I was working with Shutzy.
Paul Shuttleworth.
Yeah, man. We had such a laugh. It was class.
Shutzy's a good guy.
Yeah, he was funny, man. And Jonty off the radio as well.
Oh, right, okay.
And we had a good crack.
Yeah. So did you have many public bring ideas your way, or did you just kind of freestyle it?
It was sort of freestyling, bro, to be fair. People would come in and say what they liked and that, and then we just do it, sort of thing. But
right.
yeah, we had it was very interesting. That we had a few complaints about the smell of paint, obviously, do you know what I mean? Which you always get. But after about 3 o'clock, after we've been painting all day, the conversation on the radio was just going south. Do you know what I mean? We had such a good laugh, man. It was great.
Is that because they were mainly high as a kite?
Yeah,
off the
Shutty was
aerosols?
high as a kite on the aerosols, bro. People bringing him cakes all the time, and he was loving it.
I also read that you've done like graffiti workshops like this, like what you do since the 1980s. Now, as the way that you spray or the way people welcome your art, has that changed in all them years? And do you think it's changed for the better?
Yeah, it's changed so much from what it was like back in the day. The spray paints now are just crazy what you can do with them. Lower pressure cans, colour range is just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? One of the makes of paint, I think there's about 120, if not more, different shades.
Jeez.
And that's good. Do you know what I mean? But I do suffer on buying paint online. Do you know what I mean? Because the colours don't look the same when they come. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I like to be that visual. I like to go to my suppliers and pick up the paint so I can see firsthand. You know what I mean? To make sure the colour works.
Yeah, I must say, like, and this is kind of off the question that I'm asking you now, but like some of the artwork, I'll call it, some of the graffiti that I've seen across like Birmingham, Worcester, lots of different places that I've travelled with the music, I always stick my head out the car and have a look at the artwork and stuff, mainly because I'm a passenger princess with these cars due to epilepsy. So I have a lot of time on my hands to look around, and that's when I spot all the and there's some very dangerous pieces, mate. When I say dangerous, some very I'm like, well, firstly, how the hell has someone got up
Hanging
there?
over sides, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them are massive, and they're like on top of railway bridges, and I'm like, wow. Like, firstly, like, how have you even got up there in the first place to even begin spray painting? And all for the love of graffiti, like.
Yeah, it's mad. Just getting your piece up in it, getting as high as you can.
Is that kind of what it's about, yeah?
Yeah.
They get a little rush off that as well.
Yeah.
They must get a little rush off
I don't do that no more, bro.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I know you've put that behind you.
I'm far too old to be running and leaning over things, me.
But you had years. Yeah.
Back in the day,
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's how you learn, really. I suppose.
Yeah.
So as I previously mentioned, the creativity side of you is apparent in many different avenues of your life, mate. So let's dive into your music. Now, you mentioned that you're a DJ. Was music always around your household growing up?
Yeah, it was. My dad was in a band.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Back in the day, he was in a band. And we always had music on, do you know what I mean? Always had music on in the house. His best mate was in ELO. So we followed ELO big time, do you know what I mean? And I got brought up on them, which back then, like, early 80s and that, they were so far in front of their time, mate, do you know what I mean? Yeah, he played instruments. My dad tried to get me to playing the guitar and that as well, like, but went for my fingers, bro, do you know what I mean? He used to hurt my fingers, like pressing the strings, and I was like, this ain't for me, I can't do that. But I always had a passion for music and listened to music. And then I remember when I was working in the factory, me and this other lad, we even knocked up, like, trying to, you know, like, you used to record off the radio, which you shouldn't have done, do you know what I mean? Like Pete Tong, well, I don't think it was Pete Tong back then.
Judge Jules, maybe? I don't know.
It was way before.
Oh, way before all them. Is that when you record it onto tape and you put little sellotape in the corner of the corners? Mate, I'm from that era, man.
But then we developed, we made this thing so you could record, play 2 tapes and record it on another tape.
As if?
So like try to make it continuous, because I hated all the breaks and I needed a continuous mix. You know what I mean? So we try and do that ourselves. And then it just progressed, and I got some decks and just learnt on vinyl. Do you know what I mean?
So would you say that you had quite a wide variety of musical interests growing up?
Yes, yeah, I did. I mean, like soul, disco, funk, do you know what I mean? That's me now, do you know what I mean? And I'm like producing music now, it takes me back, do you know what I mean? But yeah, my dad was always singing. We'd have parties, he'd get the guitar out and I'd cringe, mate, do you know what I mean? Even then now I'd do that. But he can sing in front of people and I'm just like, how you doing that, man? Do you know what I mean? But
I think that's, I don't know, to a certain extent, I'd say, apart from you saying it now, like, it's an age thing. Like, my daughter's 16, and, like, if she hears me rapping live, she's like, oh, Dad, and I'm like, and I'm thinking one day you're going to grow up and you're going to realise that Dad's done some pretty good things, like, do you know what I mean? And appreciate these things, but, yeah, I don't know if that's an age thing, but who would you say it was your inspiration currently in the music? Like currently now, have you got some form of inspiration that you know, not aspire to be, but you take a lot of inspiration from them? As
in artists or DJs?
Indeed, DJs, mate, DJs. We're going on to the music side now, mate.
DJs, I like Dave Lee. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Dave Lee's soulful house style and that disco style. I love Dave Lee, man. He's
I was gonna say, I've heard he's a top guy as well.
Yeah, Jamiroquai influences me massively, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was all over Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
So anything disco-y, man, to be fair, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all new to me, mate. Do you know what I mean? All the names, like I know the DJs I like, do you know what I mean? But like, they're rubbing shoulders with these other DJs and that, I don't know who they are. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, that's such and such. And I'm like, wow.
Do you know what? Me and you had this conversation, didn't we? The first time you linked up with me, because for those that don't know, Neil was featured in The Scene magazine, which is a magazine that's distributed across the Midlands. So I run a men's mental health article in there, and as well as that, I look for local people in our community and give them a platform just to kind of, you know, get their work out there. Not that Neil needed it, but I did give him a shout, and you know, he got featured in the magazine. So when he came to pick up a few of the copies of the magazine, we had I'd say a short chat. It was probably a good hour, mate. I mean, my wife was like, bloody hell, you've been out there ages. And I was like, he's just so easy to talk to.
She went and come back and we were still talking.
That's right, yeah. So yeah, we spoke about the about DJs, and you know, no matter how big these DJs are, they're still just average people, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They're still
like me and you, bro.
Yeah, but not a lot of people will put them up on that platform, and they're untouchable, and don't go and speak to them because they're blah blah blah. Whereas, like, to me and you, because we've been doing this for so long and we've rubbed shoulders with the big ones, you're like, they're just average people. When you take away their DJ status, they're just average people.
Exactly.
Just like me and you. You mentioned about getting your first set of decks. Can you remember your first ever party that you was able to take these decks to and DJ at? Get your thinking cap on here, mate.
Wow. To be fair, we were just playing. I was just playing in my bedroom and that, and then we was going out clubbing and that, and then we just decided, you know what, we'll put our own events on.
Oh, okay.
You know
so it started from you.
So yeah, we put a few events on back in the day.
What were they called, mate?
Kinky.
Yeah.
So I was all over the flyers with that, with being artistic. Do you know what I mean? So I was the flyer man.
Nice.
So we did a few gigs.
Were they
we did it
local?
in Newport. We did Main Street because we knew the bloke who owned Main Street. So we did it in Main Street. I think it was on Thursday night, to be fair. And that was okay. And then we got people, well, why are you doing it in Newport, not doing it in Telford and that? Do you know what I mean? So, and then we did it. We took it to Rumours back in the day. Do you remember Rumours?
A little bit before my time, mate.
Was it really?
Although, is that like what Rumours was Wellington, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and that was the same era of Cascades, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So with regards to Cascades, I'm going to give a cheeky little plug here. So me and DJ Corky, who's a local chap in Wellington, he was mad for Cascades, and what was the club? Was it Quenchers next to it? Quenchers. he was mad for that era. He loved that era. And Corky has, alongside me, I'm helping him with all the promotion, and he DJs at the events. We've started an event called Back to Cascades.
Okay.
And it's currently at the moment at Club 757, which is formerly Pussycats. And we're getting quite a good crowd, mate. Like, we started this Facebook page up, and within a couple of months, we've got 2,500 people in the community of this Facebook page, Back to Cascades, and they're all sharing old pictures. They're all reliving old times, and me and him are behind this Back to Cascades and a few other members of the team, and you know, I'm kind of helping him with the promotion because I'm like a dog with a bone with this social media. And Corky's kind of, you know, he's got his turntables and he's bringing them down and he's playing all the tracks from the era of, you know, Back to Cascades, and we've got a great following, mate. Like, there's a lot of people turning up for him now. They're getting really busy. Good, but yeah, that's just a cheeky little plug. Big up Corky. But you carry on, mate. Apologies on that. So Rumours, yeah. So you used to do the event at Rumours, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
We did a few there, and then they weren't working, bro. Do you know what I mean? It was the same with everything. It takes time in Telford. Do you know what I mean? Telford's always 10 years behind everybody else.
Always.
Bro. It's been like that forever, mate. I
don't want to kind of, this is a bit controversial, but I've kind of give up on the Telford nightlife now, mate. I'd sooner play out of Telford, and that's bad, man, because this is my hometown. Do you know what I mean?
I'm the same, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I've tried, but they just don't turn up for it, mate. They're quick enough to come on the Facebook page and say going. Yeah, in fact, no. Let's reverse that. They're quick enough to say they should put more drum and bass events on in Telford. It's ridiculous how they're in Shrewsbury and Birmingham, but when we put the events on, these people don't turn up, Neil.
Correct. I know that, mate.
And I don't get it.
Well.
I don't get it, mate.
I don't get it, mate.
It's mad.
It is madness.
It is.
But I think now the whole going out scene's changed from when we were going out. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You'd look to go out from Wednesday to Sunday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's like,
it's cheaper to stay in, though. Unfortunately, that's the sad thing about it. You know,
it is.
Yeah, and like, I was speaking to a friend about this. He might have been on he was on a previous podcast with a guy called Dribbz, who used to run Midlands Rush, the pirate radio station. We were talking about dimensions and stuff, and that's for another podcast which will be out fairly soon. But we were talking about, like, you know, the era of flyers and how they're dying a death now. You know, like back in the day, you'd print a flyer and you'd go outside clubs at 3 a.m, handing them out. And like, me and Dubs were talking about like, when we used to go to Birmingham, we'd come out, you'd always find like a fresh pack of flyers that were on your window screen, tucked on your window wiper, and you'd be well excited about what's in there. You know, Q Club's in there, brilliant. It was great. Don't see that shit no more.
Nah, man, social media, innit, man.
People pay a bit of advertising. Correct. They make a flyer. Half of these events now don't even have flyers now. They just have social media, bit of artwork, and that's it. I've got a bag to the right of you. You won't be able to see them there, but I've got a bag to the right of you, and I've been performing for like almost 19 years now, and I've got a bag where I've saved up every flyer from the events. And I'm talking, Neil, I'm quite anal with this. Like, if I don't get the flyer, when I go to perform at the club, if I can see the poster on the wall, I'm ripping that shit down.
Yeah, man, I'm the same, bro.
All right, okay.
I'll print off the posters where we played at.
There you go, because it's all history, man. I want to look back on that one day, bro. Do you know what mean?
Yeah.
I laid them all out in my front room, and it was mad, mate. Like, just to stand there, it literally covered the whole floor of my front room, and just to stand there and just look at the progression of the events and how we started from just a resident thing, never playing with headliners, to like all of a sudden playing with like Ronnie Size, and like, do you know what I mean? It's just crazy, mate. But what I will say is, and this is why I'm mentioning this, is these flyers seem to cut off at a certain year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that certain year was the progression of social media.
Correct.
Going boom.
Yeah.
Where they didn't need to be printing these flyers no more.
That's right.
You know what I
Keeps
mean?
the cost down, doesn't it?
It certainly
They
does,
pay for the
mate.
advertising and get a wider, and I do get it as well.
I get it,
do you know what I mean?
yeah, I get it.
I totally get it, but
There was nothing like you said, just having a flyer in your hand, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, probably like yourself, every DJ back in the day of a certain area had that wall covered
full
in
of flyers.
Yeah, man.
I had that. My bedroom was full of them.
Yeah, this is it,
It's
mate.
memories as well, innit?
It's
bro? Do you know what I
memories.
mean?
Yeah, I've still got my first slamming vinyl ticket, you know, when I went to a rave of I wasn't even fucking 18, I was like 16. I shouldn't have even been going, but we went, and I've still got the flyer and the ticket for that, and I've still got my little coach ticket, and it's all memories. I look back on that now and remember like going to Vision Records in Wellington and buying it and just being like, oh my god, are they going to ask for ID?
It's the same with photos though as well, innit? You used to have photo albums, didn't you? And you get them out and look at them and that sort of stuff. Now it's just on your phone.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Like,
that's photo albums anymore, man.
no, exactly.
Nobody does.
And if events going on and you buy a ticket, you ain't getting a solid ticket to have in your hand. It's emailed to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's weird as well.
It's
isn't
mad,
it?
bro.
Yeah,
The progression is mad, and it
Yeah.
took me a long time to kind of roll with it, especially with the music. Like I'm from a time when I used to make demos through tape. Go to the raves and hand them to the promoter.
Yeah.
Here's my demo. Do you know what I mean? Here's the
Yeah.
tape of my demo. Have a listen. See what you think. My phone number's on the back. Now it's just like you don't need to be doing that. You know what I mean? You can just fire a mix over, or you
Correct.
can, like, I'll be going live from any room that I'm at in the next 10 minutes. I'll hit this button and go live from anywhere.
Yep.
We like when it's crazy, like thinking back, we used to do like the pirate radio, and that, as I said, like I do explain a lot more about the pirate era with Dribbz, who's a previous podcast. But the pirate radio stations, like we travel to like tower blocks in London, in Wolverhampton, like Cannock and places like that, just to get our sound out there, and it'd be in like crackhead kitchens, mate, that they'd have a turntables, and like we'd be like, "Ugh," you know what I mean? There'd be like 7 people in this kitchen, and we'd all just be getting our sound out there. But that was what we did to get our music out there.
Yeah.
And I can remember like a friend of mine was like, mate, there's this new station and it's an internet based station. I'm like, what? Internet based?
Yeah.
It's called Kinda Funky Radio. It's in Derby. And I'm like, what's this do? And they're like, you don't need to hide from the DTI, which is the police of the airwaves.
Yeah.
You don't need to hide from the DTI no more. You can actually do this station and it's legal. So we should travel up Derby, and we used to go and perform on this station and actually just chill with it, because we didn't need to be looking over our shoulder because it was legal. What do they do now? You can go live anywhere,
I'll go live every
anytime.
week, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can literally hit a button. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Facebook. You're there. You don't need to be travelling to different places.
And you're all over the world as well.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah.
And that's the progression of it.
It is.
And it did take me a while to adapt to that.
I know, man.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm the same.
So yeah, I'm glad you're on the right tracks for me there, mate. Because I speak to a lot of people and they're like, well, all I've ever known is Spotify, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. What's a tape?
What? Yeah. I had one podcast and we were talking. It was a difference in age. It might have been Callum's actually, and we were talking about nostalgic things. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I had one of them retro games." I'm like, "Did you?" He's like, "Yeah, PS1. It was fucking so retro." And I'm like, "PS1 retro? Do you not remember Ataris? Do you not remember rewinding
Spectrum.
tapes and Spectrums? Come on!" But that's just the difference in age. You know,
Yeah,
it is. But it is quite funny thinking back at that. So now this is a question that I ask most of my artists, and most of the answers I get are quite different. But at what point did you make that transition from strictly DJing in your bedroom to like performing in front of people? Would you say that was when you started putting on your own events, as you explained?
Yeah, they were the first few, and then I used to be so nervous and that playing, and then it just sort of life changed, bro. Do you know what I mean? Family came along, everything changed, and it just stopped. Do you know what I mean? There was no time for me to be doing that no more. I had to concentrate on getting the business going, and it just died for, I'd say, 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Which, when I look back now, I think, how was that not part of my life? Do you know what I mean? The whole everything changed in my life. So yeah, about what is it now? Probably 4 years ago. I went out for the first time in ages, and then I think I went to the Cellars, do you know what I mean, to a masquerade and that, and I thought, oh, I've missed this, do you know what I mean? And then we went to a Word of Mouth in Wolverhampton, and that was just like walking back into money pennies when I used to go back in the day, and
like
that
a little time portal,
all the dancers and that, and I'm like, I feel like I've come home.
Wow,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then I went to a Butlins weekender, a cream weekender at Butlins, and it was like, yeah, that was the music what I've been missing. Got chatting to a couple of the DJs at the time, became good friends with them. Then I thought, I need to get back into this, do you know what I mean? And then obviously now it's all MP3, all controller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You ain't carrying them record boxes everywhere. You went,
and I'm like, right, okay, I can get a setup, not too much. I mean, just to see if I can get back into it and that sort of stuff. So I brought a cheap controller, which I had to run through my laptop, and I started playing again. Do you know what I mean? And then had a few little parties at my studio. Do you know what I mean? One New Year's Eve, just a few friends around. Do you know what I mean? And played there, and it was like, yeah, this is buzzing. Do you know what I mean? And then I was like, right, I need to progress. I need to get a different controller. Do you know what I mean? So I brought a bigger controller, the best one I could get at the time, to be fair. And then I just started bashing it all the time, mate. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I wanted to be, and that's where I saw, well, I need to do this. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a kid no more, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I need to be. Everything needs to go quick now. Do you know what I mean? I've probably got I'm 53, man. Do you know what I mean? So I've probably got another 20 years till I'm able to be walking around without. Realistically, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got to do it now. Do you know what I mean? There ain't no time. So I just thought I need to push. I need to push and push and push. And that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to push, do you know what I mean? And then you get your knockbacks, do you know what I mean? You get your knockbacks in Telford and that, bro, do you know what I mean? But people don't really get the sound I'm playing. It's kind of niche-ish, do you know what I mean? And I've found little niche areas where I can be playing at, and people have heard my sounds, and I'll get booked like a lot to play in Chester and that, which I'll buzz off doing that, do you know what I mean? And like now we play a lot, me and my partner Emma, we play a lot back-to-back, because she mixes her style with my style and that, so we're getting different gigs as well through that. So it's all music to me, man, do you know what I mean? But I have got what I like, do you know what I mean? And like spending the weekend before, a cream again at Butlins, listening to all that. I needed to come back and clear my mind with some disco and that, bro.
Yeah,
because it was too much. Talking
about that kind of niche, again, referring back to a podcast that I had with a producer called Bass Phase. He DJs a lot of neuro drum and bass, which is a different genre within drum and bass. And now neuro drum and bass, you don't find many DJs will do it. There ain't many events of neuro, especially around here. And it's always a very niche. When he gets booked for a rave within like Shrewsbury, he's like the only DJ that's doing neuro drum and bass. The rest are jump up drum and bass, because that's what is the main thing at the moment with regards to D&B. And I can always remember, well, I say I can always remember, it was only a month or two ago, he went down to London to go and he went to a neuro rave, and he messaged me, and I felt so happy for the guy, because he was like, I feel like I'm at home, because it was a neuro drum and bass rave. Man. He was like, this is my people.
Yes.
Every set is neuro, and I thought, good for you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Good for you, because for so long he's been the only one playing neuro drum and bass. Now he's found this place in London that's neuro, and this is you know what I mean?
That's where it needs to be, isn't it?
Yeah,
I get that.
So hopefully you can get booked for that. But yeah, so you know that kind of relates to that really. Now I know that your most preferred genres in this music is disco and soulful house, but you've been branching out to explore like the jazzy swing breakbeat sounds too. Is this strictly the genres that you've always spun, or have you been known to touch any other genres like drum and bass or hard house?
I've never done drum and bass, bro, to be fair. I have spoke to Darth Vader though, and I said I need to borrow some of your sticks.
Big up Darth Vader.
Do you know what I mean? And just have a go. Do you know what I mean? Because he sent me a house mix he's done the other week.
Did he?
Yeah, man. Which is, I can't get my head around it, bro, to be honest. All I can hear him playing is his garage and drum and bass.
I'm not just saying this, Neil. Like, Vader is one of the best up and coming DJs,
sick, bro.
mate. Like, we play with so many up and coming DJs, and look out when Fader's on a lineup. Trust me, like that guy. He blows my mind. Some of his mixes, his variations. He's just brilliant, and he's a lovely guy as well.
He's a lovely bloke,
and he's got that presence. Again, we spoke about this on a podcast with Slimothy D about appearances, how you're perceived as a DJ and MC. He looks like a DJ when he comes into a rave, and he's got the musical note on his neck, and he's got the little man bun, and he's got his little backpack. You look
What's
at
in that backpack, bro?
Well,
it's his batteries to keep him going, isn't it, man? Do you know what I mean?
You know what? I get some stick for wearing my backpack. I've got a backpack, mate, and I'll get some stick that like you got your makeup in there. I'm like, no. What I've got in mind is my SM58 because I don't like carrying it in my pocket for all the time. But Fader is a decent lad.
Yeah, he is.
And he's a class DJ. So big up yourself, Fader. 100%, mate. So how long roughly would you say that you've been DJing for now, and how long have you been taking this serious?
Well, I've been DJing. I started DJing, like I say, about 95, 96 for about a good 5 years, and then stopped. So I don't class anything after that. I've been playing. Do you know what I mean? So probably the last 3-4 years, bro. To be fair,
it's where you've been starting to.
Yeah. And trying to push it. But again, it's getting out there, isn't it, man? Do you know what I mean? It's hard. Do you know what I mean? But it's wrong, but it is who you know at the end of the day.
It certainly is,
mate.
It
is, and it opens doors, bro, for you and that sort of stuff. Just from me playing at Creamfield South in the Artist Village, we got invited to go down with the lads I'd met at Cream that weekender. We've become great friends and that, like, do you know what I mean? We got asked to go and play down there because they wanted somebody reliable, they said, do you know what I mean? And in the Artist Village, it is usually quite disco-y and chilled for the artists that they've played. They don't want to be hearing banging sets in there when they've just been out there banging the sets out themselves.
No, of course not.
So I played there, and then I met a bloke called Sean Benton, and he was like, "Your sound's just exactly the same as mine, mate. I'll get you on a radio station where it is based all around that kind of sound."
Yeah.
So we linked up after that, me and Sean, and we've become really good mates. And he got me into NDC radio, which for me is just, I've been on other radio stations and that, bro, to be fair, do you know what I mean? And it's rewarding, do you know what I mean? There's a chat room, and the sets are live as well, which is, it goes a long way playing live on the radio and that instead of pre-recorded. People think they can they've got the interaction with you, and they think they get to know you, sort of thing, and that, like, do you know what I mean? And that's good. So every week I know I'm not playing just to myself. People are listening.
Yeah.
And then they're commenting in the chat room, and we're having the crack, and it's all good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And the station only wants good for you. It's a platform for you to grow. Do you know what I mean?
And is that a niche to your particular genre of music, or do they have a range?
Yeah, Mondays, to be fair, I'm from 5 till 7, and then Lenz, who's from Rotterdam, he's like New Grooves after me, and he'll play disco and he'll play funky.
Cool.
And then Tom is on after that, and he'll keep the same kind of vibe. So Mondays is a nice vibe to the show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you end up listening to shows after yours?
Yeah. I'll listen to Lenz.
Because some DJs, they'll do their set and cut it off, and that's it.
Yeah, no, we're all interactive with each other, and that, man. It's like a good little community we've got going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's good.
Yeah.
The station's being pushed more for next year as well now, so they've got like good headliners coming on who's syndicating like shows just to the station and that, so that's really good.
No, that's great. So from doing my research, I've noticed that you perform out with your partner DJ Emma M.
Yeah.
Emma M, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Emma M. Apologies, Emma. It's just trying to get the words out. Emma M. That must be a really cool feeling right there, to share these moments in life together, mate. Really, you know, they are both special to you guys. Did music first bring you two together, or has that just been a natural progression?
Yeah, no, she never played. She never DJ'd at all till she met me. Yeah. And then we'd be playing our parties, and then like we did private parties and that, like just for mates. And then she was like, "Can I have a go?" I'm like, "Yeah, have a go, man." And then I'd take the decks round to her house and that, and then we'd just sit there of an evening putting it together. And I'm like, "You can actually do this, you know? Do you know what I mean? You just need to believe, and you can do it." And then she's more tech house than me. Do you know what I mean? And then she goes bass house, and she goes on the tangent, bro, to be fair. And there's me playing all floaty disco stuff, and she's just like really hard, and they're like, shouldn't it be the other way around and that, like, and I'm like, yeah, but that's us, do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
And when we come together and play back to back, we try and combine the two together. so it gives us a little bit of both of us. But like lately, we are changing our sound together as well. Do you know what I mean? And it works.
Yeah.
I think there's a gap in the market for couples to be doing that, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And we bounce off each other when we're playing. Do you know what I mean? So, like the bigger gigs we've played, do you know what I mean, on bigger stages and that, like it's all good. Do you know what I mean?
And women are getting much more. It should have been like this back in the day.
They should, man. But again, it's quite sketchy with the women, like the way they.
Yeah.
She beats herself up all the time and that, like, and all you see is like these young girls on TikTok parading with nothing on.
Mm-hmm. Don't make you get the views.
Yeah, don't make you a good DJ.
No,
man.
it doesn't.
Do you know what I mean?
No, it doesn't.
Don't sell yourself out and be like that.
It just makes pervy men go, oh,
exactly,
you know
man.
What I mean? Like, yeah, like don't sell yourself out.
Not at all, man.
And that's like, you know, to Emma as well. Like, yeah, these people that wear next to nothing and flaunt themselves on TikTok and stuff. It don't make them any better of a DJ at all in the slightest.
No.
If anything, it's just baiting it out in it. But anyway, what I was going to say was, like, women are becoming more socially accepted in the scene for DJing now, and they should have been all along. I mean, you've got the likes of, I'm talking about like drum and bass, but like you've got the likes of DJ Rap, DJ Daisy. They're all like, you know, solid female DJs in the scene that have been there since way back. But there wasn't half as many as what there is now, so that's great, you know, because there is some fantastic women DJs.
Yeah, there is, but
you shouldn't even refer to them as women DJs. They're DJs, bro.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
just like me and you. You don't have to.
100%,
you don't have to mention their. Just like,
doesn't matter what sex they are, man.
No way. So I almost feel like I shouldn't go say women DJs, but I'm going back on that and saying, the fact is you shouldn't even be just describing them as a woman DJ. It's a DJ's a DJ, innit? If they spin tunes and they've got the right, you know, vibes, then job's a good one. Job is a good one.
Yeah.
But it's nice that you two share that together, mate. That's lovely, that is. Now, you also put on events under the brand Live Life. Was that an easy process to run your own events? And was there any negatives? Is there any negatives that you can think of to running your own events that bring like a whole heap of stress? I'm going to go for a quick example. Like I used to run an event called Base Camp back in Churchill's Bar in Wellington years ago, and we used to ram that place out. My biggest stress with running my own event, and I'll never ever do it again, was set times. When you got DJs going, well, I can't turn up for this time, and you got another DJ going, well, I can only play this time because I'm performing here, and it was just like, on the day they're letting you down and stuff. So man. any you know,
it's just, for me, it's just the amount of work that goes into it, the lead up to it.
People don't realise this, though, do they, mate? They turn up, they get the ticket, they turn up, they have a dance. They don't realise what you've put in to get that party started.
For me, I'm more visual as well, so our parties have to look visually good. Do you know what I mean? So we dress it. Do you know what I mean? Where
of course they do.
You want to go. I don't want to go into a venue, man. If somebody's putting a night on, it just looks like it was the same venue from last week. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You've got to make an effort. I'm all about like manumission and that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And putting on a party when it's all visuals, and that's time and effort that goes into that. And then, like you said before, people say, yeah, we're coming, and then they don't turn up, and you think, do you know what? Is it worth putting an event on for somebody, trying to educate people with the music, and people moan, oh, it's always the same music round here and that, but you try to do something different, and it's hard, man. We are re-looking at what we're doing next year with it, moving it probably out of Telford, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Take it to places that get us.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because there's a lot of work for nothing, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? It's not about making money, bro. Do you know what I mean? You ain't going to make no money out of it.
No.
It's about putting on a party for people to come and have a good time.
100%.
If I see people dancing and enjoying themselves, that's a winner for me.
That's the
bro.
one, mate. I think you might be on the same page as me, but with regards to these events, even though I don't put them on, I perform at them. Life gets stressful, mate. Like, we have jobs, we have stresses, we have bills, we have, you know, illnesses, we have family, you know, life gets stressful. And if you can come to a rave and have a couple of hours of being like carefree and just lost in the music, which I see these people being, hands in the air, just euphoric vibe, they just, you could just tell they ain't stressing about what they've got to go home to. And that's lovely, mate. I think that's great. Because I know for a fact when I step on that stage and perform, that mask comes on and I forget everything that's going on.
You have to, man.
I just get surrounded by that music and I deal with that when I go home, you know? So aside from the DJing, you also produce your own music. Now, 20 years ago, these digital music editing software, it wasn't what it is now, mate, if anything at all. The software you use to produce your beats now, did that take a long time for you to learn?
I'm still scratching the surface on it, bro, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? I had no idea what I was doing at all. I've never sat in front of a door, do you know what I mean? And then was like, what the hell's a door? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's all new to me. And I'm not musically, what's the word, educated, do you know what I mean?
Same.
I wouldn't know notes from notes.
No, I don't understand music theory or anything like that, mate.
I can hear beats and I can hear, do you know what I mean? And I can hear where things should be brought in and that sort of stuff, but I couldn't tell you what keys, do you know what I mean? So it's learning as I'm going, do you know what I mean? Like how it all came about, Knight Thomas, bless him, do you know what I mean? He's just a breath of fresh air to me, do you know what I mean? He performs for the pub disco who we play for in Chester. And it was my very first gig I played for him at the Yard where we played last weekend, which was bizarre. So it's like a full circle again. And I finished my set, and halfway through my set he picked up the mic and he was singing over one of the tunes I was playing, and I'm just like, wow, that's just blown me away. Do you know what I mean? Who's this bloke? And then I finished, went outside, and he came outside and he was talking to me, and he's like, I want to work with you. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I want to make music with you. And I was like, I have no idea, mate, what to do. He's like, I like your style of music, I think we can work together. Have you ever made tracks? I said, no. I've got ideas, I've always had ideas, you know what I mean, of sounds I want to create. I said, but I wouldn't know what I'm doing, mate. I've got no equipment, I've got no studio, nothing like that, do you know what I mean? He's like, well, I'll show you, I'll teach you, do you know what I mean? We'll do something together and that, like, and I'm like, yeah, okay, saying. And like I said before, there's a lot of talk, man, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of talk. Until things come off, it's all just talk to me.
Definitely.
So it must have been 12 months, and we did nothing, do you know what I mean, at all. He'd had family problems and that sort of stuff. And then I saw him at one of the Christmas parties, and he's like, I meant what I said, we will work together next year. And I'm like, just let me know, man, and we'll get some on. So he invited me to his studio in his garden in Chester and that, and he was just talking me through the basics of, like, he uses Logic as well, and I know a lot of people use Ableton as well, but I thought, at my age, bro, do you know what I mean? I can't learn 2 programs, do you know what I mean? I'll need to be learning what he's on. So I was just picking it up, and like I said, I'm visual, do you know what I mean? And I've watched YouTube videos on it and that sort of stuff, and I'm just like, I can pick it up from that, but reading, I've no idea.
Same,
mate.
I'm totally the same, mate.
Not at all. So yeah, so I'll go to his studio and we just play around with instruments and messing with stuff and making beats and that sort of thing, and then we started to get things together, and then we go back the week after or 2 weeks after and keep putting it together and that. And I'm like, but I can't have this break in between doing stuff, because then I forget, do you know what I mean? I have to be on it every day. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, right, I'll get myself a laptop, I'll get myself a Mac, do you know what I mean? MacBook, and then I can design it on the go, do you know what I mean? I can build on the go, do my sketches on the go, then take it back to his studio and go, these are my ideas, do you know what I mean? And we'll build from them, sort of thing. So I was on it all the time, to be fair, and then my head's just got so many ideas I need to get out.
Yeah. You mentioned an idea this morning with me, which would be great, mate. I'd love to. I'm always about stepping out of the box, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we could do something, bro. I think
multi-genre artist for a reason, mate. So I'd love to try something different like that.
Yeah, I think it could work, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And if it doesn't, then we've tried, innit?
Yeah.
We're not losing anything by giving it a go. So,
exactly.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So, can you think of a few brands of parties for the listeners who may have an interest in this style of music that they can keep these brands like on their radar and possibly attend in the future?
Our parties, or just
the parties with a niche of the genres that
disco
you do.
and that.
Yeah.
They just seem to be popping up more and more now. Do you know what I mean? We did go to a good one at Nottingham last year. I think it was called Disco in the Woods or something. I think they recalled it this year, Wonderland, I think, festival or something. And yeah, that was just disco, bro, and that was amazing. There's a Southport Weekender. I've seen that's been announced and that, but it's not in Southport no more. I don't know where it is, but the lineup there is crazy as well.
I performed at a Southport Weekender. I think we did like the drum and bass room there. It was carnage, mate. It was great. Yeah, great.
They look good, man. They do. But yeah, apart from our own little gigs that we do, you know what I mean? We've got one in December, 28th at the Frog in Shifnal, outdoor party, where again it'll be just different vibe, you know what I mean, different tunes, different music. We are playing Albert Shed Boxing Day.
Telford?
Yeah, Telford, Albert
cool,
Shed
okay.
Boxing Day.
I might just come along to that, mate.
Live Life Discotheque collaboration that night, mate.
Nice.
Yeah, so again that'll be something slightly different. Yeah, just I can't think of anything more off the top of my head, bro.
Well, the most important one is Live Life, innit?
Yeah.
You know, 'cause that's your baby.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You'd love a lot of people to come out and to support that.
Yeah.
Whether you're into that you know, whether you're into that vibe of music or not, come out and come and see what it's all about, because you know it's a great team that are running it, and you know, you'd be guaranteed a great night by the looks of it. I'm definitely going to reach that myself. So now, are you strictly? You've already said about, you know, possibly doing a collaboration with myself, but are you strictly in your own lane when it comes to producing the music, or are you open to collabing with like more different producers?
Yeah, it's I'm open. Like me and Emma will work together on some of her tracks. She's just got a melodic track mastered, and it's out on Basecamp and that.
Nice.
Just trying to find a label to get that into, but again, that's not my genre of music. Do you know what I mean? So we've been sending it out, but to be fair, we might just be setting up our own label next year to do our self-releases and that.
Get in.
And that'll be multi-genre label as well. Do you know what I mean? I don't see the point in sticking to one genre. And just give people the chance to get their music out there.
Absolutely. Now, this is the time where I like to touch on a subject that I advocate for every day of my life and in everything that I do, and that is men's mental health, Neil. Now, have you ever suffered with any mental health in all the years?
Yeah, I have, mate. Yeah.
And what steps did you take to address this?
I went counselling. I had counselling.
Counselling worked for me, man.
For about probably about 12 months, mate, to be fair. And it is a big thing, isn't it, counselling for men?
Mate, honestly.
I couldn't get my head around that to start with, bro. And it was like going and talking to somebody who doesn't know you. Do you know what I mean? But then it helped. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes a stranger's better, mate. Sometimes it really
They
is.
give you an honest opinion as well. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're talking to friends and that, you're always thinking they've got your best interest at heart, bro. Do you know what I mean? And they ain't going to tell you the way it is half the time. Do you know what I mean? But like, the counselling helped for me, so I would not shy away from that. If anybody thinks they need to have counselling, go and have it done, man. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that was my next question, mate. For the benefit of the listeners, can you give them one piece of advice to anyone that may be suffering in silence right now?
Yeah, don't bottle. I'll still bottle things up, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's hard, man, but it's better out. Do you know what I mean? You need to talk to people, and there is somebody always worse off than yourself.
Yeah.
When you look at the bigger picture, do you know what I mean? We're here once. Do you know what I mean? And it's easy to say, I can give advice out, man. I'm the worst person for taking it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got all the answers, but I'm rubbish at taking my own advice, bro. Do you know what I mean? But you have to keep pinching yourself and thinking, we're here once, man. And it's not a long life. Do you know what I mean? You might as well live the best life you can and enjoy it and be happy, man.
100%, mate, 100%. Now, being based in Telford, I'm sure you're very much aware that, you know, at many times Telford can be shown in a very negative light. We won't go into the details of why, but, you know, you only have to put Telford into Google to see why it's known for what it's known for. Can you give me some positives, Neil, about living in our hometown of Telford, and how do you think it's evolved in the time that you've lived here?
Telford has changed so much since I came to Telford. My parents came here in 75, do you know what I mean? So I was 4 when we came to Telford. And just seeing the whole change of Telford from what it used to be like to what it is now. And it just evolves, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just life. Life changes, do you know what I mean? We used to know everybody in our community back then. Do you know what I mean? We'd have street parties. Do you know what I mean? And it was a proper sense of community. And I think, to be fair, I think it's lost that a little bit now.
There's some people that don't even speak to their next door neighbour.
No, and I know that.
Sad that, innit?
But I think it's the whole way the world's changed as well. Everybody used to be your house. Do you know what I mean? You'd have your house, or you rented the house. Do you know what I mean? And you'd live there, and you took pride in it. But now people are buying houses and renting houses out. Some of these people who live in these houses haven't got pride because it's not theirs. Do you know what I mean? And I get that. Do you know what I mean? I do totally get that. But it's lost the community, I think. Do you know what I mean? there is still small communities around. Do you know what I mean? But the bigger estates now, I think it's just people just live now.
Yeah, I think for me, like, you know, coming and growing up around Donington, like, there's such a... People go, oh, it's just a, you know, it's a scummy council estate, you know, area. And for me, like, knowing the people I know from Donington, yeah, you're right, mate. Like, back in the day when I was younger, everyone knew everyone. I go down there now and I'm like, who's he? Who's she?
Yeah, man.
They don't have no connection to here, you know, this is crazy. But amongst them nitty-gritty council estates are some of the most loyal people you will find, or will do anything for you. You just have to not judge a book by the cover.
Yes. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there, man. Yeah, there's some good people out there, bro. Do you know what I mean? Telford just needs to be, I don't know, I think everybody's got something to prove, man. It's like small town syndrome, innit?
This is what I keep saying.
Do you know
to
what I
people.
mean?
Yeah, 100%. It's same with like the rapping and stuff, mate. Like, I keep thinking, like, I can think of so many rappers in Telford that are doing bits. Now, everyone seems to be in their own lane, Neil. I've reached out to people. I'm not going to name drop, but I've reached out to people and I've gone, let's do something. And they've gone, no, I'm doing something myself, mate. If we came together as a collective and bought a thing, then maybe we might rise a bit more. Do you know what I mean? We've already got the lower hand, and I found this more as a drum and bass MC. If I was a drum and bass MC of 19 years in London, I probably would have made some waves by now.
Yes.
Because I'm from Telford, it's like, oh yeah. It's that. You have to work harder.
Yes, you do.
To rise
you
above.
do. You do.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. You do, man.
It's crazy, and I think
it is crazy.
You know, if people just came together collectively and represented the sound of one area, we could achieve real big things.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So we've touched on your many different talents, mate, and I'm sure there's so much more we could touch on related to you. But I reckon we're going to flip it up now. I like to do a little fun bit of the interview as a last kind of thing of the podcast. This is where Neil goes, oh, here we go. So depending on, you know, the nature of the interview with many guests, I just like to have a bit of fun. So I'm going to ask you a range of questions here, mate, to finish this podcast off.
Right.
I don't want you to think too hard about them. These are off the cuff. Just provide me with some of the most random answers, and believe me, I've heard some right ones. Okay? I'm not asking you the same questions as I've asked previous, but they're just a collection of fun questions, mate. Okay. So, this one's a little more serious. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be, mate?
Oh, follow your dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, follow your dreams, and don't let anybody stand in the way of you getting where you want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to have your dreams, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm probably the biggest dreamer going, bro. Do you know what I mean? But you have to have your dreams.
I think I grew up so worried about how other people perceive me, and then I got to a grand age and I'm like, do you know what? If they don't like me, they don't like me. I'm
always worried about trying to please everybody else.
All the time.
Yeah, man, I get that.
All the time.
Yeah.
Name me the most impossible thing on your bucket list.
Wow. I don't even got a bucket list, bro, to be honest. The most impossible thing.
Anything you wish that you could do, which is just damn impossible.
I wish I could go to space, mate.
You know what? I was just about to say, go and spray paint the moon or something.
I wish I could. I wish I could get. Yeah. I wish I could jump out of a plane and do that parachute jump thing.
That's not impossible, mate.
It is, because I ain't doing that. I don't do heights, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I don't do heights either. I'll get that book for you, mate.
But
next week.
I like the idea of it, but I would never do that.
There you go. Okay.
Because we're meant to fly, I'd have wings, wouldn't I?
That's very true, mate. That's a good way of
looking
at
ground,
it,
bro, not flying.
That's a good way of looking at it, mate. Tell me about something that has happened that's changed your values as a person. Could be anything in the years that you've been around, mate.
My values?
How you perceive things or what you stand for now. Is there been any significant moments to make you...
Yeah, I think meeting Emma, for me, bro, has changed me dramatically. Do you know what I mean? Just the way we are with each other. We get each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They say behind every great man is a great woman.
Yeah,
mate.
there is, man, and we were brought together for a reason, bro. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Again,
I'm a big believer that,
reason.
man. We saw a psychic in that, and they said to us, "You two were brought together."
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? To spend the rest of your lives together, to be who you are, and that, and we can be each other. Do you know what I mean? We can be who we are, and she gets me and I get her.
Yeah. And you motivate each other.
She makes me look at things differently as well. Do you know what I mean? Which is good. Which is what I needed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. When did you last do something for the very first time? Now you can, if you really struggle to answer these, mate, you can pass. We're all good. You don't
for
have
the
to
very
give
first time.
Yeah, have you done anything for the very first time?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
we'll pass on that one.
Bing, should we pass that one? What is a fact about you that no one else would know, mate? You don't have to go too personal. Is there any?
Like I wax my back. No, I don't actually do
or
that.
Crack, one of the other.
I'm definitely not doing that. I've been there for years, bro. Oh man, I don't know. That's another
fine,
one,
mate. Like I said, you don't need to give me solid answers. I'm just throwing these out to you, mate. It's all good.
I like pink. Probably everybody knows that anyway, mate. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, pink's my colour, to be fair.
And not Pink the artist.
No, not Pink the artist. She's good, like, but
she is good.
Yeah,
she's the type of woman that look good in a bin bag. Doesn't matter what she puts on, she just suits styles.
You tell her she look good because she beat the crap out of you.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Okay, so if you were a brand, what would be your motto?
Live life.
That's perfect.
That is my motto, bro.
That's perfect. And that's what you carry for your events as well. That's what you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
For the
that's
listeners.
What I've got tattooed on my knuckles.
That's what you've got tattooed on your knuckles. Exactly, mate.
You have to live life, brother.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think you're dead right with that one. If someone wrote your biography, what would the title be?
Wow, it wouldn't be long, would it? It'd be the shortest book ever, mate.
And you can't use Live Life.
No.
Nor I Love Pink.
That's natural, that then. Oh, mate, that's hard. That. I don't know. That's hard thinking about yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's like that question. Give me 10 positive things. Give me 10 things you're good at, and give me 10 things you're bad at. You could probably name 10 things that you could do better.
Pretty hard struggling with bad. Yeah.
I'm happy to move on if you need
to. Move on.
Yeah,
man.
all good, mate. All
hard.
good. Like I said, they're just fun questions. They don't need solid answers, mate. When you go on holiday, is there anything random that you pack in your case?
No, but I get slated for packing how many pairs of trainers I take for a few days. My case is worse than Emma's, bro. Do you know what I mean?
That's because you've got swag, mate.
She goes mad. She's like, you take so long to get dressed, and do you know what I mean?
Because you've got swag, mate.
I bring so many clothes with me, and I'm like, the weekend I took so many clothes. We were there for one night, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, but my outfit, I might not fit. I have to have my outfit changes and that.
You take care in your appeance. There is nothing wrong with that, mate. And that's again what I do with myself, especially when I'm out and about. My tracksuit will match my cap. My cap will have the same colour as my trainers, and people will go like, really? But I'm like, yeah, like a lot of people have described me as like, they're like, the first thing you see when you walk into the room with yourself is like how you present yourself, and and that's important.
First impressions, man. It is, man.
Important.
It is all about that, man. There's no harm in taking pride in the way you look and that.
Yeah, totally get that. 100%, mate. How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Oh. Wow. I can think of more than 3 words over other people have described me. I'm caring. I do kind of wear my heart on my sleeve and that, bro, to be fair. And I always try to see good in everybody.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Good quality to have, mate.
Do you mean if people got beef with somebody, that's not my beef until they bring it to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the worst decision that you've ever made? Coming on this podcast.
No, man. Oh, mate, I have made some bad decisions over the years.
You don't have to go too deep, mate. But if there's anything. Mine is putting my trust in too many people and expecting the same trust and morals and stuff back. You know, I kind of expect it just because I perceive the world in a certain way and respect people in a certain way. I always think that I'm going to get that back, and I don't get that back, and then I get quite pissed off about the fact that I'm not getting that back. People aren't being, you know, like, I'll go to a certain, you know, if I know someone's struggling, like if you said to me, do you know what, bro, I'm struggling mentally, believe me, every day you'd have a message off me. Every day. You wouldn't have to be tight with you, or if I knew you were struggling, it would just be, how's it going?
Yeah,
because sometimes that's all you need.
Yes.
There's a without saying too many words, there's a certain artist at the moment who's mentally struggling, and yeah, every day I'm dropping him a message, and some days I'm not even getting a message back, but he knows how he's had that message. And it was something like, you know, are you okay? And they were like, yeah, I've been and took a bath. And it might sound cheesy as fuck, mate, but I was like, I am proud of you for getting out of bed, facing that day and having a wash.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all they...
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That could be the only conversation they've had today.
Yeah.
And I like to, and a lot with my friends, I will always check in on them every day. And sometimes I'll get up in the morning, mate, I'll be having my brew, and I'll just send a friend, have a good day, bro.
Yeah.
I never get that back, Neil.
No.
I never have messages that say, how are you?
Yeah.
I never get them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it upsets me because I think I'm not doing it to receive it, but why aren't people got the same
Everybody's
values?
not the same. Yeah.
No one's the same.
No, they're not,
expect
man.
everyone to be
No,
the same.
they're not, no.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It doesn't mean
yeah.
I think I'm any better than anyone else, but I
No.
can't expect people to be the same. But yeah, so that's kind of mine, is putting my trust and expecting the same values back. Really.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with that, bro. to be
Really?
fair. Yeah, it's treat people how you want to be treated yourself, innit? Do you know what I mean? And like I say, I'm fine with everybody, but until they step out of line or do something, and I think, nah,
That's it.
you're done now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if someone's talking about someone, I will never take that someone's opinion until they've crossed me.
Yeah, I'm
I
exactly the same with that, man. On certain things recently, I've been the same with that. Do you know what I mean? People have got opinions on somebody, and I'm like, well, they've been fine with me.
Yeah.
Until they cross me.
That's the
I'm
one.
wary.
Cross
I'm
me
wary
on-
of them now.
Yeah.
What you've said. Do you
You
know what I
cross
mean?
me or my family, you're done.
Yeah, man.
And I can cut people off like that.
I
do
can
you know
cut
what I mean?
people off. If I don't speak to you for 2 weeks, man, you're dead. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I'll move on like that.
Yeah. So finally, then, Neil, this one, it shouldn't take too much thinking, mate, but this one's food related, okay? Because I haven't got to this level of dad bod without a love for all things sweet, all right?
Oh my god, that's my downfall, bro.
Are you crisps or biscuits, though?
Biscuits,
bro?
me, man.
Biscuits, man.
Yeah,
My wife's crisps.
man.
Mate, she's like, I've got the munchies, pass me a bag of crisps. I don't want a fucking bag of crisps
It's
when
not
I've got the
the same, is it,
munchies. I
man?
want to murder biscuits, and I don't have 3 or 4, bro. I have the whole packet.
It has to be the packet,
And that
bro.
is why I'm on the route to losing weight. I'm trying to lose weight, like, do you know what I mean?
It's bad.
I'm going to Fat Club and everything, mate. Like,
You
honestly,
really?
I swear to God, mate. At Shifnal, I'm at Fat Club. So if you want to
What
catch
the hell?
Dribbz at Fat Club. He sat with Margaret and Barbara in a circle. This is what I said to my wife. I'm like, look, I'm all good doing the diet, and I'm all good going to get weighed. But why do I have to stay for these classes? Because these classes, man, they're all sat round in a circle
Talking about food.
talking about food.
Priceless.
And like, it'll be like, oh, Barbara's lost 1.5 pounds, and everyone has to fucking clap for Barbara. I don't want to clap for Barbara, so I look like the only twat that's not clapping for her. And then I look at Barbara and I think, Barbara, you're about 91 or 92. You don't need to be going on a diet, love. Just eat what you want, man, because you've got to this time. Do you know what I'm saying, Neil?
Yeah.
This is how I see
Probably
it,
lost a
mate.
stone from just going on the a pound on the toilet.
Yeah. And my wife's like, don't be so fucking rude. And I'm like, it is quite rude, but that's how I think. So I have to do this fake kind of clap for Barbara, who at 91 has lost 1.5 pounds. She's probably only got another couple of years in her, but just eat what you want, man. Don't come here.
Who cares?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going there for health reasons. I've been told that I'm borderline diabetic, so I need to sort this shit
That's
out.
the biscuits, probably, bro.
Probably, bro. doesn't take a genius to work
Not
that
at
out.
all.
Do you know what I mean? So, my question for you, food related, is a Jaffa cake a biscuit or a cake?
It's a cake.
It is a cake. I
Of course
thought
it is,
this,
man.
mate. It's called Jaffa cake for fuck's sake, but
Yeah.
people say it's a biscuit, man. I don't get that. I don't
A
get
biscuit
that.
goes. What does it? When it's stale biscuit, what does it do?
Well, yeah,
It goes soft.
it does
And
indeed.
what happens to a cake? It goes hard.
It does, and that's what Jaffas do, man.
Correct.
What is your choice of biscuit, mate? While we're on here,
Mine is.
tell me you're a man of bourbon. Tell
I
me.
like a bourbon, bro, but I like chocolate malted milk as well.
What, the cow biscuits?
Yeah, man.
Come
They
on.
took it to the next level and put chocolate on it.
Yes, mate.
Yes, mate.
They are Boston, them are. I
And
wish
you
I'd
still
known.
have to eat round and leave the little cow in the middle.
Yeah. I wish I'd known you were a fan of them. I would have bought you a pack of them.
I had them last night, bro.
Oh, did you? You need to chill out on them.
Me and Emma just annihilated the packet.
I'll give you a free entry to Fat Club if you want, mate. You
Button.
come and clap for Barbara.
Yes.
Come and give
Well
Barbara
done,
the
Barbara.
clap. Well done, Barbara. Honestly, you've only got a few years left, but fuck you now. Anyway, Neil, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Yeah,
Thank
bless you,
you
brother.
so much for coming down. It's lovely to connect with you. You know, I've recently connected with you, and I feel we've just got off like a house on fire, mate. So I class you as a friend now, and
Thank you, bro. And you, man.
yeah, I just want to say, it's thank you for giving some very honest answers there, giving us an insight into, the DJing, the creative art. Yeah, like I said, mate, you deserve the flowers, whether you think you like it or not. I know that, you cringe at that, but you deserve them flowers, mate. So sometimes you need to take them flowers.
Thank you, brother.
So have a nettle. In fact, have 5 nettles.
Have 5 nettles.
And chow them down. There's your salad, bro.
Brilliant. With a clover.
Did you ever used to put them on your chin?
Buttercups, them.
Oh,
not
they're
clovers.
buttercups.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Used to be looking for the 4-leaf clovers.
Oh, did you ever find any?
No, did I?
Oh, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was a lucky twat, mate. I found them. I put
It's a leprechaun in you, bro.
Look, right, I know I'm 3 foot nothing, but I'm not a fucking leprechaun, Neil. Anyway, big ups to all the supporters. This has been Dribbz Talks, real, raw and uncut. Big up to everyone who follows the socials. And once again, I can't thank everyone enough for following me on this journey, because you lot have walked with me from the drum and bass to the hip hop and now the podcast. I'm getting a lot of you supporters that have come over to the podcast as well. And to me, that shows that you're genuinely interested in what I'm putting out as opposed to just the material. So all the usual stuff. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You guys might not think it's much by just tapping that like, but the algorithms, it goes a long way. So please, can you subscribe on Spotify as well, because we're getting a lot of views on Spotify, but the subscribers aren't quite there, and that's what I need to build up the platform with. So this has been Dribbz Talks with Neil Willis, and thank you so much to everyone for locking in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks Podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say.